Welcome, little artists. It's Miss Gisa, and we are learning about artist Andy Warhol. I have a story called Uncle Andy's Cats, written by James Warhol. Uncle Andy said it all started with a little blue pussycat named Hester. She was just a kitty when I got her from a fabulous movie star called Gloria. Little Hester just loved Uncle Andy's house. It was tall and skinny and perfect for dashing up and downstairs and hiding among the antiques. The only time Hester was still was when she was staring at Grandma Bubba's mynah bird, Echo. On our visits to Uncle Andy's, we would look and look, but still couldn't find little Hester. Little Hester grew and grew and grew and became Big Hester. Uncle Andy and Bubba thought Hester was lonely. That's when they decided to get Sam. It was love at first sight. Uncle Andy enjoyed Sam and Hester's company when he painted late at night in his studio. And when it was bedtime, the cat's favorite spot was Uncle Andy's wig drawer. On one visit there were kittens, lots and lots of kittens. Uncle Andy said, "It's so marvelous. Hester is now a mommy." Bubba said they all look like their papa, so let's name them each Sam. Holy mackerel! The little Sams loved their tall, skinny house too. The only time we ever saw all the Sams was when Bubba called them for their favorite meal, oatmeal and liver. Uncle Andy said that the Sams liked us best when we were sleeping, and I think Uncle Andy did too. We always loved snooping around at Uncle Andy's, and one day we got another surprise. Hester and Sam were a mommy and daddy again. Holy macaroni! The kittens all looked just like their daddy, so they were also named Sam, and that made for a whole lot of Sams. Uncle Andy was sometimes interrupted when a herd of Sams would stampede through his studio, and the neighbors were interrupted when the Sams would sneak up to the roof. The Sams loved to rumble amongst my uncle's soup boxes. At the end of a long day, they found that sleeping in Uncle Andy's room was very comfortable. Now Bubba and Echo had a little bit too much company. "Andy, there are just too many Sams," Bubba told him, but Uncle Andy didn't know what to do. We brought 3 Sams home with us, but that didn't work out too well when they wouldn't come down from the roof. Finally, Uncle Andy had a plan. Uncle Andy and Bubba drew and painted the most marvelous portraits of Hester and the Sams. After many days of working, the art was finally ready to be sent to the printer. Uncle Andy and Bubba each created a fabulous book. Uncle Andy's was called 25 Cats Named Sam and 1 Blue Pussy, and Bubba named hers Holy Cats. The books were a huge hit, and the Sams became famous overnight. Everybody wanted a Sam. They came from uptown and downtown to get a Sam. In no time at all, things were just about back to normal, and that made Uncle Andy and Bubba very pleased. As it turned out, Hester and Sam were just the right amount of cats for their tall, skinny house. Holy moly! That's the end of our story. Let's do a little art, shall we? Remember that Andy Warhol was an artist who changed the way we thought about art. Before Andy Warhol, most artists painted pictures of people and landscapes and places, but Andy started an art movement called pop art, It was called this because Andy took things that were popular, thus the word pop, which comes from popular. So he took objects and used those objects as the focus of his artwork. He and other pop artists felt that art should reflect modern life. So they made art inspired by the world around them, inspired by comic books, movies, music, and even product packaging. Andy took ordinary things like bananas and cereal boxes and turned them into art. Some of his most famous works of art feature the popular Campbell soup cans. He made a print of every type of soup can that Campbell's made. His artwork makes us ask questions like, what is art? And who can be an artist? Okay, now it's your turn to design a soup can. You can take a look in the cupboard, see if you have a soup can that you want to maybe get some inspiration from or model, but I want you to make it your own. So I'm going to move Mr. Andy over. I've drawn a little soup can. You can use a pencil and then trace on top of it with a thin black marker. That's what I did. Or you can use colored pencils. Design it any way you want. And don't forget to send me a picture. You can send it through my email or you can post it on Instagram and tag me at Butterfly Garden Preschool. I can't wait to see your soup can design. Thanks for joining us. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe.